Good morning, Team Genesis Associates. It's time for another value-packed training designed just for you. Today, we've invited Zoom expert Jeffrey Suddarth to be our guest trainer. As you know, many Team Genesis leaders are taking full advantage of Zoom's video communication platform to help us effectively grow and nurture our high-performing team of professional networkers. We chose Zoom as our provider because they're the market leader currently being used by over 1 million businesses worldwide, providing a high quality, no or low cost service. In just a few minutes, Jeffrey's going to show you how to bring your CTFO business into the new age by introducing you to some valuable features and functions Zoom offers. Pay close attention as this no cost addition to your business model can help you expand your reach and your business in a personal and professional way. Today, Jeffrey is going to set you up for success with a fun, free, and easy to use platform for starters. If you decide to graduate to online meetings or your group grows beyond the capability of the basic package, you'll have the option to upgrade to a package that will meet your growing needs just as Klaus and I have done. We hope you're excited to learn something new here today. This can truly change the way you do business. Professionals in MLM and corporate organizations are enjoying and benefiting from connecting through Zoom with prospects, clients, and each other without having to jump on airplanes and fly all over the world. Just imagine this can be you in a matter of minutes. So here we go. Without further ado, let me introduce you to our very sharp young man who's generously agreed to commit some of his time off this weekend to be here with us. Jeffrey, please take it away.
Awesome. Thank you, Janet. Good morning, everybody. As Janet said, my name is Jeffrey Suddarth, and I'm on the direct sales team here at Zoom. So work with a lot of network marketing organizations, direct salespeople like yourselves. And so today I'm going to tell you a little bit about Zoom, how to get started, and how this can impact and improve your business. As we're going through, if you guys have any questions at all, feel free to type them into the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen, and we'll get to those as they come in. Before we get started, just want to tell you why we think Zoom is a valuable tool for people in the direct selling industry. So the biggest things that we see are it allows you to increase sales volume and values. You can accelerate the time to sale. You're also increasing the engagement with your team, increasing retention, as well as increasing productivity. So just to get started, the first thing I want to show everyone is to get a Zoom account. All you have to do is go to zoom.us/signup. This is going to be completely free for you guys, and this will allow you to meet one-on-one with prospects and clients for an unlimited amount of time. And then anytime you have 3 or more participants in your meeting, you'll be time limited to 40 minutes. So I would say get started with Zoom on the free version. And then as your business grows, as you're continuing to meet with more and more people, if it makes sense, maybe upgrade to the paid version of Zoom. And then for the Zoom basics, we'll start there. So this is going to be the Zoom console. This is what it will look like when you're in a meeting. And you'll see all the controls here across the bottom, right? So I can mute myself. I can start and stop my own video. I can see all the participants who are on the call, as well as the chat and things here. One of the biggest things that Zoom allows you to do is obviously replace those face-to-face interactions on video, but you're also able to share content and things like that. So if you have a presentation about changing the future outcome, or maybe you want to walk a prospect through signing up online right on the call, you can do that. So obviously I'm sharing my screen now, but you would just come here, click share screen, select the window that you want to share, and then do that. And you also have the option to share a video clip. If you guys have a promotional video or anything you want to show as well, you can do that too. You just have to click this optimize for full screen video here at the bottom. One of the biggest things that I find beneficial for people in direct selling is just walking through new prospects through the sign up online, have them share their screen, walk them through the sign up. That way, if they have any questions or anything like that, you're right there. It's not, hey, I'm going to meet you for lunch. We're going to talk about this. And then you have to worry about them maybe or maybe not signing up a few hours later. As you can see here, so you can chat with your clients as well. So you have that option here in the meeting. Another big thing that I was talking to Janet about is using Zoom just to increase your team engagement. So not only is this a video platform, you also have an offline chat and instant messenger that you can create groups and share things with your teams and things like that. So I'll show you what this looks like. One second here, guys, sorry. Um, I'm on my laptop here at home. Typically, I have a few more monitors to work with, so bear with me here, guys, if you can give me just a minute. So this is going to be the desktop client. This is where you'll launch your Zoom meetings. You can join Zoom meetings from here and things like that. I could also schedule a meeting. Let's say I wanted to set up a meeting with Janet next week. I can input the date and time here and everything, schedule that, and then I would just email Janet over that invitation and she'll have a link to join the meeting, much like you all joined the webinar here today. This is the chat feature I was talking about. So this allows you to communicate with your teams, create different groups. For example, this is our corporate chat here. So we have groups for things like sales, Zoom, our company-wide chat, also things like hiking, but really easy. And it's a great place for you guys to collaborate with your teams. You can share best practices, share tips, and you can also share files, presentations, and things like that in the chat. And then what's really nice is it's really easy to start a quick Zoom video call from here. So I'm not going to do it because it's the weekend and I don't want to bother all my colleagues, but I could click this invite to meeting, and now the whole group is going to get called out on their computer. They're in a Zoom call, you're chatting, you're collaborating, and things like that. Here you'll be able to see all of your upcoming meetings, and if you record your meetings, maybe you want to post a recording online or something like that, you'll be able to see those here as well. And then lastly, this is going to be where you can add contacts. So if you want to chat with your friends, your teams, this is where you'll set that up. So anyone who has a Zoom account, whether that's the free account that I showed you or a paid account, you can set that up here. You'll just add a contact, input their email address, and then you'll be able to chat back and forth, and then you can set up groups and things like that as you're going through. So as we're getting started here, I noticed we don't have any questions in the chat. Is there anything that you guys are curious about so far? Anything you'd like me to touch on that we haven't yet?
Jeffrey, I'd like to ask, when you're recording a video of a meeting or a webinar, how do you broadcast through Facebook?
Yep. So that's a great question, Janet. So Janet mentioned in the beginning here, we have a few different versions of Zoom, right? So we're in the meeting, you'll start with a meeting. That's that free version that we showed. If you are continuing to grow, want to expand your business, we have a webinar option. And what Janet just alluded to is that allows you to stream live over Facebook. So the people will be on Facebook, will be seeing what you're seeing in here. So maybe you want to interview someone else from Changing the Future Outcome, or you want to share a presentation on Facebook Live. Zoom will allow you to do that, and you can share that to private groups as well. And I'll show you how to set up a webinar here shortly, but you basically come in here. I'm not the host, but you would see an option here to share live over Facebook. You would log into your Facebook account, and then you could select a page or a profile that you want to share to. Maybe you have a group page or a team page for your team at CTFO that you could share that to.
Could you explain to some of the people who are brand new to Zoom, Jeffrey, because I didn't know this at first, what's the difference between the free version that allows you to host meetings compared to hosting webinars? What's the difference between those two forums, please?
Absolutely, yeah, that's a great question. So right now we're in a webinar. Obviously, Janet, Klaus, and I, we're the hosts and panelists, so we're on video. You can see us, you can hear us. For all the attendees, you don't see, who else is on the call. It's more of a large one-way presentation to a large audience, whereas the meeting is a collaborative experience. Everybody's talking, everybody can see each other, and things like that.
I have a good question here from somebody.
I just saw that. So you can record a presentation of yourself with no attendees, and then you can share that. You definitely have that option. If you sign up for a paid plan with Zoom, You'll get some cloud recording options as well. And so then you can share out a hyperlink and people can watch that recording at their leisure. Maybe you post that to a Facebook group or something like that. And I'll show you guys all how that works. So once you sign up for Zoom, this is going to be your Zoom profile. This is where you'll manage everything with your account. So you can upload, pictures so that you can see for Janet and Klaus who have their video off. That's what it'll show. This is where you'll manage everything. Here are those recordings that we mentioned. So if you do record yourself, maybe you want to send that out with the cloud storage. All you would have to do is click the share button here, grab the link, and then post that. And then anybody who wants can watch that at their leisure from their computer, their device. So you're just increasing your exposure there, and it's a nice way to give a presentation. That way you can really nail it too if you can record it yourself.
You can record in a meeting in the free option, Jeffrey. Are you able to share that recording?
So with the free version, you can record locally on your own computer. You don't get any cloud storage with that. But that's going to be a simple MP4 file. So maybe if you want to upload it to your Facebook page, you could do that, or to YouTube and then share it that way. You could do that as well. So you have a couple of different options.
I like that. Can we talk a little bit about the recurring meeting? Because that has worked so well for our team to be habitual and predictable over time, just has so served this organization. So how easy is it, and do you recommend that people begin to schedule these things, and so people know where to be and what time to be there each week ongoing?
Absolutely. Yep. So as Janet mentioned, you can set up recurring meetings, and I'll show you how this works here. But this is really beneficial, especially when you're meeting with your team and meeting with new prospective clients, because you don't want to lose engagement, right? And having a meeting every week or every 2 weeks on the calendar is a good way to make sure you're staying on top of things. And that's something that you can share out. So maybe this would be Janet's weekly team meeting. She would come in, set the date and the time, make it recurring every single week here. And then we'll come down and we'll click save. And then now Janet has a meeting every week at the same time. She has this invitation, so you can send it out to her team. And that way people are meeting regularly, you're collaborating regularly, and really helping each other out. So it's a good recommendation, Janet. And that's a good thing I recommend doing with your prospects, just to keep them engaged, make sure you're always, reaching out and continuing to talk to people.
And Jeffrey, how do you manage a meeting if one person is going to kind of be the leader or in control of the meeting? They have kind of the agenda or intention of the meeting. How does that work, where one person speaking and kind of has control for a quality meeting? And can you bring other guest panelists in who co-present, if you would? Not a formal webinar, not with huge attendance, but still a quality controlled meeting.
Absolutely. So a couple of best practices, I would say, when you're meeting, obviously one-on-one, it's a little different, but if you're meeting with a group, I recommend just muting everybody when they join the call. So you can manage that. That way, if someone's got a dog barking in the background or anything like that, you're not being bothered. But if you have someone you want to interview or someone who wants to share content, they'll be able to do that as well with you on that call. Excuse me. So that's how that would work. And then, as we mentioned too, you have the option to chat in the meeting. So just coordinating with things in the back end like that. If you have a host or something, that way the other participants can't see it. You're chatting privately, and so you can manage that way. One thing I do want to show you guys here is just the webinar. So as Janet mentioned, this is more of a one-way presentation, but you can get a lot of valuable information from these webinars. So for example, you have the option to do registration and a nice landing page that's branded, with your CTFO branding. You can set that up. But what's really good here too is you're getting all that good contact information when you do set up a registration. So I can get, prospects' emails, phone numbers, and things like that. So I'll show you what that looks like here. But from a scheduling perspective, it's just going to be very similar to the meeting that we just showed. You can make these webinars recurring as well. Maybe you want to have a weekly info session for CTFO, and you can post this out to Facebook. People can grab that link, and then they can jump onto the webinar that they would like to see. And so they would basically have a drop down, and then they can see all the events upcoming. And let me show you guys what a sample registration page here looks like.
I love the idea of this registration page. It kind of gets people to commit. You capture their information, and then you've got a means of follow-up, right?
Exactly. Yep. And I'll show you, Zoom will automate the follow-up to you as well, so you don't even have to worry about it. This is our sample registration page. Obviously here where it says Zoom, You can put your CTFO banner and branding. You can upload a logo here. And then you also have the option to upload a photo for yourself and up to 2 other speakers. So maybe you want to highlight a special guest that you're having or something like that. And we only require first name and email address. The rest of these fields are fully customizable by you. So if there's any different information you want to collect about folks as they're signing up and registering, you have that ability as well. And then, so Janet's posted the link out to Facebook. I've went to the registration page. I signed it up for Janet's webinar. Now I'm going to get a confirmation email. I'll get a reminder an hour a week and a day before. And then you can also send automated follow-ups both to the attendees and then as well as to the people that registered and weren't able to make it to the meeting. So I know we talked about recording. So maybe the people who weren't able to make it, maybe you send them a recording of the call or you send them a link to a future webinar so they can register again and then hopefully attend.
Oh, these are great, Jeffrey. And then if I remember right, you can even have surveys of your webinar attendees that you can send out. Is that correct?
Yep, you can do that as well. So we can do surveys, and you also have the option to do polls during the webinar. I wish I built some out before this, but I don't have any set up. But maybe you want to ask folks, simple questions as they're going through the webinar, and it's a good way to keep folks engaged. Make sure they're paying attention, and then get some good feedback. So along with that registration information, you'll also get any responses to polls like we see here. So then after the webinar is over, you can get a report that has all that good contact info and also how they answer those poll questions. So maybe you send one out, are you interested in signing up with CTFO? They say yes, you send them an email after, hey, let's talk, let's get on a Zoom meeting, just me and you one-on-one, and talk about this partnership or this potential opportunity.
I love this. And so Jeffrey, even on the free meeting, you can be in the moment and be on the phone with someone. If they're a little stuck on their enrollment or their product purchase, you can actually walk them through it as they're sharing their screen, right?
Absolutely, yep. So you can walk them through it as they're sharing their screen, have them share their screen. That way you're watching them sign up. There's no lag time there. Maybe you meet somebody in person. They're like, oh yeah, I'm going to sign up for CTFO. They never get around to it. A couple weeks later, you're constantly following up. But with Zoom, you're on them. You're like, hey, let's jump in a Zoom meeting. I'll walk you through the sign up process. And that way you're right there if they have any questions or anything like that.
So then, Jeffrey, an option for me when I ask people to tell me a time that they're available to talk after I welcome them, I get a congratulations email that says somebody's joined my team, and I have a templated email that I send out. Instead of at the end asking them when they're available to talk, I could ask them when they're available to join me on a Zoom meeting, right? So we could make it much more personable.
Absolutely. Yep. That's a great point. It really does make a big difference, I think, versus, being on the phone with somebody versus being on a Zoom call. Obviously you can never replace those belly to belly interactions, but I think being on Zoom is about as close as it gets.
Mm-hmm.
Just being able to easily talk to people, but also talk to a group. So you can have up to 25 video feeds on a single screen. So even if you have a big team, it's like you guys are all sitting around in the same room and communicating with each other. So I saw we have a couple of questions. First one from Kathleen. How does someone turn the presentation over to another guest speaker? So in the meeting, anybody is able to share their screen and things like that. So you wouldn't really have to turn it over. It's just making sure you're managing people, making sure people who are muted and things like that. And then Lori asked, are all of these options on the free plan? So everything I'm showing from a feature perspective is pretty much available on the free plan, except for the webinar stuff. But with the free plan, you're able to meet with up to 100 people for 40 minutes. And if you're meeting one-on-one, it's unlimited. And then for the webinar features, those are going to be a premium add-on. So that's what allows you to have the registration page that's branded, go live to Facebook, send those automated emails and things like that.
I'll throw another question in there, Jeffrey. Did I see that you've got groups that you can kind of build tags, right, for people that you'll be meeting with regularly on Zoom? So we might have a group of customers who are our ongoing customers, or we might have our general large team, or we might have our top gunners, our top performers, and we can create those groups and schedule predictable times that we'll be engaging with them.
Yep, exactly. Schedule predictable times that you're engaging with them. And then what's really nice too is just being able to share content, tips, best practices, things like that. Like for example, at Zoom, we have a chat for pretty much everything that you can think of under the sun, whether it be, competitive intelligence, technical questions. There's a soccer chat, a hiking chat. But that way you have those groups created. You're sharing content. Everyone can always see that. So maybe you want to go back, you can search that group. Maybe you want to find a presentation or something like that. That's always going to be available, which is nice. So it's another great value add. And then it's really easy to quickly meet with everyone from that group. Like Janet mentioned, through recurring meetings or maybe just calling out to the whole group and getting them in that way. So.
And that's available on the free.
Yep, and that's absolutely available on the free version. So no commitment there. And I would recommend that everyone just download the free version, start there, and then as you're going through, maybe you have to do that. So we got a couple more questions. So Bernard asked, how does this work on an iPhone 6? So Bernard, you just have to download the Zoom app from the App Store. We've got apps on iOS, on Android, and it's going to be pretty much just like FaceTime or something like that from your phone, but you can manage it that way. And then Jay asked, if I send an invitation and they join, can I turn off their video, meaning their faces? I just want to know who is on the call. So first thing I would say, Jay, is we love video here at Zoom. So I think it's pretty powerful to leave the video on when you're communicating with people. But what you described is pretty much the webinar that we're in right now. So Janet and I were the hosts and co-hosts, so we're on video, but everyone else is going to come in muted. Their video is going to be off. So it makes it easier to manage a one-way presentation versus a collaborative session with a group.
Jeffrey, can you talk about to this group that's brand new to this about how they can kind of practice and be in practice mode and just have some fun with this? Because I know Klaus and I have cut our teeth with you guys for about 9 months, and we were really challenged, and we keep smoothing off the rough edges and stuff, but practice makes perfect, right? So can you talk about being a little awkward doing some practice mode sessions?
Absolutely. So first thing, regardless if you're on the free meeting plan or in the webinar, I think it's definitely a good idea to practice, maybe get a friend or another person in CTFO and just do a couple Zoom meetings, get comfortable being on camera, get comfortable sharing your screen and things like that. But with the webinar, what we have is something called Enable Practice Session. So you'll see this option right here. And what that allows you to do is basically get on the webinar. So before you guys were all brought in this morning, Janet and I and Klaus were just talking, did a couple practice run-throughs of the presentation, how to best manage this. And then once we were ready to get started, we clicked the broadcast button. Now all the attendees are brought in. We're live and we're communicating to everybody. So.
I'm thinking as I'm sitting here listening to you, Jeffrey, that this would be a great thing for leaders to do collaboratively with their new onboards. When new onboards get people and they want to introduce CTFO or welcome their new onboards before they really know what's here and the lay of the land, they can invite leaders to collaboratively present on Zoom.
Yep, absolutely. Get leaders to present and things like that. And what's really nice too, especially if you are continuously bringing in new people, maybe you send up like a once a week or every 2 weeks, just a training where you can walk people through changing the future outcome, how to best sell it, how to best share that with prospects and potential clients. And then you can also walk them through how to use Zoom and things like that. That way you're not limited geographically, right? Your reach is much larger. You can talk to people anywhere in the world, not quite face to face, but almost just as good. So.
Right. I think the most effective training I've ever done is people shadowing, sitting right with me, watching how I work and stuff. And this is the next best thing to bring us up close and personal. So to shortcut the learning curve, right? Really get to know each other and figure out how to work together as a team.
Yep, absolutely. It's super simple. It's super easy. And you can really, learn quickly, get up to speed a lot more quickly than you would otherwise. So.
And you bring up a good point that video really is the wave of the future. Video gets seen more than content. Does it online? Am I correct on that?
Yep, video gets seen more than content, and Zoom has done a bunch of studies. A bunch of other organizations have done a bunch of studies, but when people are on video, they're a lot more accountable. They're paying attention versus, a traditional conference call where you call in on the phone, you're just looking at the screen share. People are on Facebook, they're doing other things, but when you're on video, it kind of holds people accountable. So, they're paying attention, they're engaged and contributing. So.
And for people who are too shy to be on video, then they have the option of just having their profile headshot for instance, launched and visible while they talk over it, correct?
Yep, exactly. And then I saw Alexander had a question. So Janet is recording this, and I believe she will share it after. And then Dean, another good question. So we actually have a partner, and I'll show you guys this. We've got a coupon code with them as well, and I'll share this with Janet. But with the green screen, you can't upload any background behind you and then use that as your Zoom background. At work, I have one. I just don't here at home. But you could upload like a change in the future outcome logo or something like that. And this is a pretty interesting company called the Web Around. But they basically make green screens that attach to the back of your chair. And then if you want to throw something up behind you, you can do that. And if you punch in promo code Zoom, you'll save 15% as well. So there. And then what other questions do you guys have that I can help answer? You know, first time using Zoom, things like that.
If we don't have any more associates posting questions, Jeffrey, help us get started today. So like, give us our call to action, our marching orders on if people say, I'm willing to try this, I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing, I'm not even sure exactly how I'll apply it. How do we get started? What's the easiest and first step?
Yep, that's a great question. So and I'm going to send you guys a follow-up email to Janet that'll have all of these links as well as a bunch of helpful things, tips, and tricks like that. But all you have to do is go to zoom.us/sign up, and then you'll be able to create a free account with us. No credit card required or anything like that, just your email address. You can sign up here, and then I'm going to share also some helpful links that'll help you get started. But we've got a lot of great resources here that'll help you get trained up. So this is one of my favorite pages. This is just a bunch of quick how-to videos. So maybe you just want a quick refresher, you're not sure how to do something. This page will pretty much cover you for the most part. How do I join a meeting? How do I share my screen? What are the meeting controls? And these are, you know, quick 1 minute long videos. We've also got a full support page that you can visit. We've got live trainings that you can attend. And if you can't make a live training, we've also got recorded options as well. And then we've got a great support center, keyword search, anything you could ever, you know, want to do with Zoom, you'll be able to find here. And then even with the free plan, you have access to our 24/7 customer support as you're signing up. So you see this help button at the bottom of all the Zoom website pages. Click that, start chatting with one of my colleagues. They'll be able to help get you as you're getting started as well. So we've got a couple chats here.
I'll add, Jeffrey, here, you guys have the most incredible customer service. Klaus and I have run into real pinches literally in the middle of the night as we prepare for an important webinar. And you guys have people, do you have service people around the clock?
24/7, yeah. So we've got so a bunch of support people in the US. We have some in Malaysia, some in Europe as well. That way we're just covering, yeah, the full 24/7. So.
Yeah, that's just great. And for me, who this stuff doesn't come easy, your tutorials are super helpful, super clear on most every topic you would want to know and master. And then you guys are always inviting us to live learning opportunities, and all of that has just been absolutely magnificent. People will be in awe of how much value you provide at no cost.
Yep, absolutely. So Randy, I see your question here. So for the upgraded version, it's going to be $14.99 a month. And that'll basically allow you to meet with 100 participants for an unlimited amount of time. And then if you need the webinar, that's a $40 add-on. So the total monthly cost for the meeting and the webinar option would be $54.99. And I know Janet and I are working. We're hoping to get you guys a coupon code here in the coming months, just to be able to save, 15% on Zoom services as well, just for CTFO members. So we're working on that, and we'll definitely keep you updated as that goes through. But I would say, start with the free version, practice, see how it can impact your business, improve your business, and then make sense to upgrade, or you want to reach larger audiences on Facebook. Be happy to reach out to me, answer any questions as you're doing that, and we'll make it happen. So. And then I think that's about all I have, unless you guys have anything else you'd like me to touch on before we wrap up.
Oh, that was a great learning experience, Jeffrey, and we're grateful for your time and your expertise. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of adopters as a result of doing such a magnificent job for us, showing us what's possible with Zoom. And we trust you'll come back in the near future and build on what we've learned today to help take this group to the next level.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Janet. I appreciate you giving me the time and allowing me to speak with your team. I'm going to jump off now, guys, but Janet will send you my contact info if you didn't grab it from chat. If you ever have any questions about Zoom or anything like that, I'm happy to help.
We appreciate you, Jeffrey, and we look forward to next time.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Team Genesis Associates, I encourage you to spend some time this weekend figuring out which of the features and functions you just learned about today will suit your prospects, customers, and associates individually and collectively, locally or around the world. All things with CTFO and Zoom become possible. So you've seen how Zoom allows people to meet virtually, but I want to remind you that we're looking forward to meeting all of you live and in person at our first Success Saturday training in Tempe, Arizona on March 23rd. Don't miss this invaluable chance to meet and learn from COO and co-owner Michael Kahn and 5 top trainers from our organization. I know I would love to meet every one of you personally at this event. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on Wednesday for another great business briefing and associate interview. Bye for now.